in any case, I thought this was
That's fascinating.
Really fascinating. So not as fascinating as what I'm about to show you, of course, because this is the work that we're doing. I had actually sent you this video, but assuming that you have not had a chance set aside the time to take a look at it. I recently gave a 7-minute presentation through Dennis Hayes' program, and I think this is a really good way to understand where we're at as a business, and more importantly, what we're working towards. Is
this the mentor program?
Yes, this is the mentor
to
program.
Your mentor?
So it was like a public audience. It wasn't a large audience. It was a virtual presentation. So I was at our office, talking to like this camera, and then that camera was being broadcast through the computer to the Zoom call that we were on. So I want to just review this, and I would love your thoughts at any point. Feel free to ask me to pause it or just press the space bar at any time.
So this is the presentation that you...
Yes, and this is me being introed, or this is Bernie, the guy introing me.
And last but certainly not least is Jacob Andrews, founder of drone manufacturer iVue, an American technology and media company.
Hello everyone, my name is Jacob Andrews. I founded iVue. Originally I had an idea to map the world with drones, but as I started building iVue into the company that it is today, and the company I want it to be, tomorrow or in the future, I started thinking about what that actually means, and it's really about making the world more accessible. And people will probably say, well, we have cars today, we have computers, we have all these great devices and vehicles to make the world more accessible, being able to reach goods or information, other people around the world, right? But I think drones are the next platform that are going to take, our connectivity to a whole nother level, right? Essentially becoming the next sort of personal platform that every household and business adopts. And so while we are working towards developing the drone for the everyday person, before we get there, we started thinking about the business model for how we can actually make a business around this. And so when I originally started thinking about the idea of mapping the world with drones, I of course thought, well, we need to make our own drones. So as Bernie mentioned in our intro, we are manufacturing our own drones. You can see 4 of our current models here in front of us. That's where we make most of our revenue today. But where we actually started off bootstrapping, we started a brand called iVue Media, and that's really geared to provide value to the drone operators of today, where we're going to make every household and business, or people within those households and business drone operators, really the only people operating drones right now are aerial photographers and videographers, at least the drone operators that are making any money with them. So while we want to make drones more valuable, more versatile, able to do more than take photos and videos, doing these media services has allowed us to start offering value to the drone operators of today. And of course, to make our hardware, our drones easier to use and scale our services, we're also developing our own drone operating system we call World's iVue. But where we're at today, we have Develop Air, which is really designed to build a foundation of enthusiasts, hobbyists, students, developers, engineers, the people that want to make drones easier to use and more valuable, right? Making the different software applications, the different payloads that you can attach to our drones, and of course, even just improvements to the drone themselves. In this case, we've made Develop Air completely open source to make it just as easy or as accessible as possible for those wanting to help us build this future of drones that anyone can take advantage of them. But that's leading towards our next product that we're working to bring to the market.
Are you timing? Are you being timed?
Yeah, drones
good.
That are really designed
Good.
for the everyday person, everyday household. And a big problem with that is, again, most people aren't photographers or videographers, so they don't really get value from the drones that you can buy off the shelf today. And the people that could get benefit from a drone, outside of photography or videography, you need like a DIY custom drone platform, and that's just too complex for most people to be able to operate. So there's a big hardware problem that exists for making drones easy to use and valuable for the masses, the everyday person. So we are looking at our software very much kind of like Google Maps and the look and feel of it, where if you try to tell like a roofer, a farmer, or anyone to use a controller like the one I'm holding up in my hands, they're going to say that's too complex for them to operate. something like this sort of smart controller that's maybe $1,000 is a little bit better, but it's a dedicated controller to fly your drone and a very expensive paperweight whenever you're not using it. So we make our software right now out of a web platform or out of the web browser. So using any phone, computer, or tablet, you can actually just fly your drone with or without a controller. So you can tell your drone where you want it to go and what you want it to do. And that's something that really anyone can do if you can use Google Maps. Beyond the drone control elements, though, we are also building out other applications and allowing third-party developers to also build out applications. One of these applications is iVue Media. So as I talked about previously, we're already offering services by and large without a software platform to be able to facilitate those orders. But the same platform for our drone control will also be able to fulfill those orders. Taking in the orders from our customers who are like real estate agents, construction companies, events holding, or businesses holding events needing some sort of photo or video coverage, and then us dispatching the drone pilots to those locations. And again, it's very much like an Uber sort of business model. Of course, we want those drone operators using our drones, but right now they can use any sort of off-the-shelf flying camera drone. And now this is an example of one of our services where we have generated more than $500,000 of revenue to date so far, predominantly from now 36 of our Develop Air sales and more than 700 of our media service orders. And this video that you're seeing is one of our Develop Air drones with a deployment mechanism that we designed. And this was the first service that we were able to provide outside of the media production space, where we are able to utilize our own drone and software, again, for a paid service. As far as a look at the market goes, you can look at all these numbers, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that the drone industry is big. It's continuing to grow or take off, pardon the pun. But I think the best way to look at it is there's about 1 million registered drone operators in the U.S. today. And
1 minute, Jacob.
thank you, Bernie. About 1 million drone operators in the United States today. But again, thinking about everyone becoming a drone operator in the same way we're car and computer operators today, we just don't use those terms. It's only a matter of another decade or two before everyone is considered a drone operator in that same sort of context. Well, again, I've talked a lot about what we're working towards. It's not just myself that's, leading the charge. I have a great team working alongside me. Brian, who's helping do this video production. Gerardo, he does a lot of electrical engineering and design documentation work. Mohit leading the charge on our software development. And then we have a great team of advisors and investors backing us, gearing up to raise a $2 million seed round to bring our next drone product, Omnibot Air, to market.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. So that was 7 minutes?
7 minutes.
Nice, yeah. Covered a lot.
In 7 minutes, yeah. I actually shared this recently with an investor I reached out to, and they were looking for a 1 minute video to introduce the founder of your company, right? And so this is obviously longer than a minute. The whole video is actually 17 minutes, counting the Q&A after this presentation. But I figure if you're not interested within a minute of watching this video, there's nothing that I'm really going to be able to say to get you interested. And if you're not interested to by the end of that first minute, probably not going to be interested to watch the rest of it. But if you're interested within that first minute, you're probably going to want to watch the rest of that.
So you're saying you sent them that?
I sent that, and I did say, hey, this is outside the scope of the 1 minute video that you want. But
well, I mean, if they say, oh, you're disqualified because you're outside, then they might miss out on it. Well, then you're going to miss out, but they might as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so well, that's fair. I mean, it's kind of along the same lines of, I can't remember who, Lee Iacocca, one of the big capitalists or industrialists, may have been Jack Welch with GE when he was running it. They said if you have an idea, it ought to the white paper, 1 page. If you can't tell us in 1 page the essence of it, then it's either too complicated or you hadn't thought it out well enough.
Yeah, so there's a couple of anecdotes or points I had to share about that. It's funny in school. you got to write a minimum of 6 pages, 8 pages, 20 pages, whatever the case may be on a specific topic. But you get into the business world, if you can't get your ideas across in 2 sentences or 2 paragraphs, we're not interested, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a total, like we're
Right.
preparing people for, being super verbose and, trying to cover the information as much detail, not really caring about the word count as possible. When you get into the business world and it's mostly about efficiency,
Yeah.
it's
Time is so valuable.
Right.
And to waste people's time, man, is, that's something that will hurt you if you're seen.
and